Hey guys, Masati here. Hope you are doing well. This is Mas on Sunday, and gosh, I don't know where to start. But Mas on Sunday is what we do here. Again, a lot of new people, so welcome. A lot of interest in exponential intelligence. Exponential intelligence is, well, the body of knowledge that I tap into, or I've been given abilities to tap into through two near-death experiences that allow us or allow me to see this reality very differently. So that means that the old status quo, as far as like say psychology, self-improvement. In this case, we're going to be talking about the new wealth paradigm, taking a look at wealth very differently, right? And bring in different solutions, not just tell you about the different solutions, but many of you who have experienced, say, changes and transformations through the work that we do here and with exponential intelligence. Amazing transformations. People regaining their youth. People recovering from even terminally ill issues. And I'm not a doctor or anything like that. And Yami, if you can, well, we'll read that in the, I guess in the middle. But if you can put that disclaimer up as well as we go into the analysis, which we'll do halfway through. Again, the point is that there's a whole new world coming up, okay? And this is why we're talking about, well, the stock market, finances, and well, the way money, or the way we think about money, okay, that whole paradigm is changing. So this first half on Moss on Sundays is about, well, what's happening in the stock market and what you can do to take the best advantage of what's going on. The second half is, well, kind of showing off my abilities, not really showing it off, but allowing you to see that, there are ideas or possibilities beyond this reality that affect this reality. Okay. Just like, if we don't see it, we don't smell it, we don't sense it, within our five senses, then it's not real. And even scientists nowadays, they go, well, if it's not proven, then it's not real. Well, nature doesn't wait for science to prove something before, it keeps on going, right? Nature, again, doesn't wait. Humanity doesn't wait. The consciousness that we're evolving into does not wait. Okay? And I'll just give you a little brief on what's happening over time. Consciousness is always awakened. It's always creating more and more possibilities for us. Nature always takes advantage of those. It's called consciousness evolution. Again, evolution, evolving. Humans tend to hold on to their identity, and that's the problem. And that's a huge problem that we're going to be facing in the near future. So as we go through the process, and as we go through, say, the centuries or time here, consciousness always awakens. So what does that mean? It means that space and time become more efficient. How you render, how you create yourself here, we become more efficient at it. Just like any invention, back in the day, the smartphones, before they were just called cell phones, right? Was clunky. They were in a suitcase. You couldn't even really dial or call, and you were limited. But now look what we can do. It's a whole freaking computer, more powerful than the computer used to take, I think, the Apollo 9 mission. Imagine that, and it's in the palm of your hand. And that's what's happening to, well, all inventions, but that's what's happening to time and space as well. So that means that the efficiencies that have to happen in human consciousness, or how people see themselves, have to change as well. You can't stay behind. You can't go backwards in this case. You can't stay where you are. You have to change with the times. That's how strong, say, that this transition is into, say, a new reality or a new consciousness. In the past, there was waves that would go forward and like transform, for example, well, in the past, and this isn't the first time, by the way, but it's always happened. It's always a transition, slowly transitioning. But in this point in time in history, not in human history, but the universal history, the universal time and space history, again, way beyond man. Right? Man has only been around here for a very short period of time. We're talking beyond Earth. We're talking about, again, how time and space was created. Maybe billions or maybe trillions of years at least. That this universe has been around. It's always been transitioning. It's always been moving. The human status has been around, I don't know, say 10,000, maybe 20, 30,000, not exactly sure. But normal or civilized man has been around, say 10,000. So imagine that. So we're just a little snapshot or a little prism on what could be, okay? Or what the real meaning of what this reality is about. As time transitions, as this time becomes more and more efficient, we get to see what we're really about. And that's the new consciousness coming through. This new consciousness affects everything. I'm talking everything. The way you see things, the way you buy things, the way you hold on to money. And this is what we're talking about here today. And it's so important that we were going to talk about time and space, and if time travel is real, is it real? We're going to talk about the science and the logistics on how exponential intelligence sees that. But I stopped that. I know we had media, social media out there. My team was saying, hey, you can't do that. You can't just, change because it's already been published. And I go, well, I can change, okay? Because it's so important for you to understand what's going on in the financial markets, because it affects each and every one of you. Okay. So again, it affects each and every one of you, and that's why again I put this edition out. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about is why it's just not the rules of money that have changed. Because in the past, rules or the game of money basically has stayed the same since the creation of money, right? The small few control most of the money, and then they dole it out to the masses. The small few, they take, say, the cream of the crop, and then whatever's left over as far as like investing, and even your investing houses, your whatever funds that you invest in, you think that they're on your side. They're really not. They take the cream of the crop for their own or their elite customers, and then the masses, you get the leftovers. Okay, those types of patterns are changing quite a bit. This is a fantastic time. It might sound like the end of time. Okay, like the title here, Moss just warned of a stock market crash and how to prepare. That sounds like the end of times for many. Okay, that's the fear that's built in you, so you hold on to your old parameters, and then what happens is, well, what happened? You listen to the talking heads on TV, you listen to your government, and you go, well, what do we do? What do we do? And they tell you what to do, and they suck the life out of you even more. So this is a great opportunity, because it's not just about, again, the rules of the game changing. The whole game is changing for you. All aspects of this reality is changing, again, including the game of money, and it's not dictated by whoever controls this. I don't want to call them the elites. Okay, so if you have a word for them, I'll be glad to use them if I like it. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Some of you not sounding okay. Yami, am I sounding okay? So let me know. Yes. All right. So let me bring the mic a little closer to me. Sorry about that. All right. So hopefully this. So let me adjust this mic here. Sounds good. Okay. Fantastic. So all the old establishments, as somebody said, yes, all the old establishments, the market manipulators. Some of you who are familiar with the GameStop scenario, if you're into Wall Street, GameStop, basically what happened was a group of traders, again, a ton of people going into the market and manipulating the market to their advantage. So the whole story behind GameStop was that, again, a ton of people who were on Wall Street beats, they got together and it's like, hey, GameStop is going down because they're going bankrupt. They're closing all their stores. Let's pump up the stock. And they did. They pumped it up from shit, I don't know, like when I heard about it, it was like $40. They pumped it up to like over $400. And again, those are the ranges that might not be accurate on it, but and then Wall Street, right? The big boys on Wall Street cried, "That's no fair," because these hedge funds were manipulating the market. They had bought a lot of shorts, which means that, well, they know that the company is going bankrupt or going down, so they hedged against their own money to know that that they're gonna lose the money. So they hedged again. They bought shorts. So that means when the market goes down, they make billions of dollars. Okay, if the market goes up, they lose billions of dollars. And they went beyond, say, their own money. So they owned billions more. And then again, the government cried, no fair. There's got to be laws around it, everything like that. But that kind of shit happens every day on Wall Street, right? You get a newsletter, you get the talking heads on CNN saying that, hey, we need to buy this stock. And what happens? Millions of people buy this stock, and then later on they short it. Happens all the day. Or they see the market going down, or they see the stock going down. They don't tell you the real news. And that's why I don't like listening to CNN. Again, I'm not saying don't listen to CNN, but I don't listen to CNN anymore because there's always the opposite, right? A stock is going down. They'll pump the stock up for a bit. They'll get their investors or the people who fund them on the back end. And then, the normal average guy invests in it. And then about 6 months later, it tanks. And you can see all these trends. So it's not fair. It's just not fair, right? And, the normal Joe, they work hard for their money. You work hard for their money. Back in 2008, millions of people lost their retirement. Okay? Why was that? Was it because of the stock market going down and all that? Got nothing to do with the stock market. There's baby boomers, and this is the way I see it. Again, I'm not a financial analyst. You do your own research. I'm just spouting off here. It's my day to rant. Okay, guys. So again, I might be this crazy guy that thinks that he's predicted accurately all these years. Again, that crazy guy, and then also has the abilities to shift and change consciousness. Again, change your life. Again, I'm that crazy guy. So please do your own research, do your own advice. Okay, I'm not a financial advisor, financial analyst on this here. So again, back in 2008, when everybody lost their retirement fund, and again, almost everybody lost their retirement fund. What was the real reason behind that crash? That was the reason behind that crash, because there's a lot of baby boomers, right? The houses, the stockbrokers, or wherever you kept your retirement fund, right? Whether it's got JP Morgan or whoever else kept your retirement fund. They didn't want to pay out all that money. All these baby boomers are retiring. Again, baby boomers are, say, the biggest, say, segment of the market. When they went into, from 20s to 30s, huge changes had to happen in the common economy to accommodate them. When they went into aging, huge retirement houses, cruises, and all those things, again, had to escalate to their level because they're such a huge market. When they went into retirement, well, what do you think is going to happen? They went into retirement. They're wanting all that money that they saved their whole dear life for, right? To enjoy the rest of their life. Wall Street or the big boys wasn't having any of that. Right. So they took all your money back in the day, invested a hell of a lot of money off it. And then when they made a lot of money, thinking you make a lot of money, what happens? Something happens like a stock market crash, or the auto industry fails, or the housing industry fails, and then everything plummets, and then your IRA account went down by shit. Again, I don't know the exact numbers, but well, some people lost over 80-90% of their IRA. Where did it all go? It just didn't disappear. It went into somebody's pocket. But the key is, it's not yours. It's happening again, by the way. Okay, over COVID. What's happening with COVID, and again, this is just my rendition of it, is that even before COVID happened, January or late December, a lot of market makers, the banks, were going bankrupt. Now think of it. How can the world banks go bankrupt? They make the money, they print the money, they dictate on how much the money is worth. They should be financial experts, but they went bankrupt. Think of it. They went bankrupt. So by February, right, and then March, remember when COVID just first hit? And then they printed out, the US just printed out trillions. I don't know what all the other countries did, but the US printed trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. In the beginning of a so-called pandemic, how does that work? You would think that big corporations don't need a bailout in the beginning. You would think that big banks don't need a bailout right in the beginning. They could sustain themselves for a bit at least, right? And maybe print a little later on. But one of the first things that they did in the pandemic, which is a virus that's supposed to kill you, is that they printed money, at least $8 trillion of money. Okay? Why? Again, was it the pandemic, or was it that the big banks were bankrupt? Again, the world banks were bankrupt. How does that happen? Again, you're supposed to be an expert. They make all the money, like I said. They print it, they dictate how the rules work, and they're bankrupt. Why is that happening? Right? It's because they're not in control of the money. Just like you are not in control of your life, there's underlying programs, the consciousness that dictates how this reality works. That's who controls, or that's what controls this reality. It controls every aspect of you down to the way you breathe. Right? That's how, say, this consciousness works. And let me explain what a consciousness is, because there's so many things out there. It's got nothing to do with you being awake and looking around and, say, sensing this reality, or you're knocked out, you're unconscious. It's got nothing to do with that. Or you get drunk and you get unconscious, or you get delirious taking drugs and stuff, and you're not in this conscious. No, it's got nothing to do with that. Consciousness. Okay, different than conscious. Consciousness is basically a global setting. Okay, basically, say how this phone works. This is an Android phone. So Android phones work very differently than, say, the Apple framework. Simple as that. It's a programming. It's a programming that dictates how other programs run on this phone. Right? A consciousness is literally a programming on how you can create this reality. Simple as that. It's got nothing to do with how you devise your life, or how you plan your life, or how you see your relationships or money or anything like that. Okay. So again, that's aside. That's another topic. That's another talk I can talk about, and I have. I think it's a previous Moss on Sundays. So let's take a deep breath in. So what's happening now is, and by the way, you've always gotten blamed for the financial woes of the world, of the country. Right? If you look back, the citizens, the mass citizens, are to blame for the financial woes of any country. Look at the government; they blame you. Although the taxpayers of the country, what do? They bail everybody out. And that's why your money back in the day was worth, from the time the dollar was printed to what it is today, 92% of your value of your dollar has been lost. That's why your car, for example, or your house is, back in the day, a car was like $2,000-$3,000, and that was a good car. That was like, say, a Cadillac. Right? Now you buy a Cadillac, it's like $100,000. It's not the technology that costs that much. It's because your value of your dollar is worthless. It's 92%. And that was before it was printed. That was before the $8 trillion plus was printed just about a year ago. So imagine that. So how much is your money worth today? Okay. You might think, well, it's safe in the bank. It's not safe in the bank. It is not safe in the bank because again, you might be making what 2, 3, 4% interest, or even say 10% interest. But if they printed trillions of dollars, you say you have $100,000, or say you even have $5,000, and they printed trillions of dollars, and over time, say that you put $1,000 in the bank 100 years ago. Your great grandparents put $100 in the bank, and now you have, because of I don't know, interest and so on, you've got $200. Okay, do you think that value of your 200 is the same? It's not. Right? It's not the $200 that would have been 100 years ago. That's what I'm saying. You're not safe in the bank. People go, well, I'll just keep it in the bank, or I'll keep it under my mattress, and then I'll be safe. It doesn't work that way, guys. Again, the value of money is very dynamic. It's very flexible, and it's fiat. People in the government, not the government, actually the Federal Reserve, which isn't part of the government, they go, hey, value of the dollar is this. And that's what we think it is. Again, it's got nothing backed. Nothing is backed upon it. Is our 401k safe? Well, no, it's not, because that's based on the value of the dollar. If you have anything based on the value of the dollar, in dollars, it's not safe. This is why a lot of smart people, a lot of smart money are investing. And by the way, the wealth series coming up, the consciousness, it's on March 9th. It's on the new consciousness of wealth, and the consciousness and spirituality of wealth. Okay? And this is what's really cool about this subject coming up on the lectures coming up on March 9th, is that before, spirituality or religion and then money was separated, right? It's not anymore. It never was. And that's why there's so much chaos in this consciousness about that. This reality is about defining who you are. The reality coming up is about defining who you really are. Okay? That means mass abundance. That's who you are. You are, say, unlimited or limitless abundance, and it has to show through in every aspect of you. So in the new consciousness, you cannot be poor. Okay? You cannot be desolate. And again, this is my prediction. I've predicted many things. This is one of the bigger predictions that I'm seeing. Again, in the future, there is no freaking way that there'll be people homeless. There'll be people on the streets, people dying of hunger, kids getting ravaged, anything like that. It can't happen because the consciousness won't happen. It won't let it happen. And that's what the talk on Tuesday is about. Again, it's a high level talk. If you're new to me, you might not understand some of the concepts, but again, you're still invited if you'd like to know, because in the talk on Tuesday, what I'm going to be doing is giving you specific trades on what I'm doing. Again, I'm not a financial analyst. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. Okay. And in the past, many of you have done really well. For example, Riot. The small group that I connect with, we got in at $6. I told the public here, our group, at about say 17, it went up to 70, and I told people to sell off, and wait to come back. Bitcoin the same way. I was off by a couple $1,000s on Bitcoin, but again, it was a great ride up from say 2,000-3,000 all the way up to now it's about around 50,000, right? So even if you kept the money, you would make a hell of a lot. So those specific trades, again, we're going to be talking about on Tuesday, what you can do specifically. Again, I'm not a financial analyst, okay? But I'm telling you just what I do. You do your own thing. So overall, it's highly important that you have to do something. You can't just sit and wait. Okay. And there's lots of opportunities that wait ahead. This isn't, say, a death sentence, by the way. This isn't the end of the world. It is the end of the world as you know it today. Okay. The next world coming up, and you have to be ready for it. Okay. It's going to be a fantastic adventure, but those who can't go on the adventure, okay, won't. You either go or you don't. And that's the great divide. Before, we were dividing by culture and religion and color and all that stuff. Nope. The great divide, and then there is no divide. The great divide is, are you awake to understand who you really are, or are you still going to run the old paradigm? Okay. If you're still going to run the old paradigm, you're out of here, literally. And you'll see a lot of deaths happening. And again, it is what it is. Those people won't be able to make it in the new paradigm. They just can't go. Okay. They're not equipped to go. They've got too much burdens. And that includes, by the way, that includes how awakened you are, not who you know, not how much money you have, nothing like that. It's how awakened you are. So what that means is that if you're awakened, and I'll just give you a little snippet of what we're going to be talking about on March 9th. If you are an awakened level, the level of money, or the level of not just money, but the level of wealth that you have, okay? The abundance in your surroundings will have to equate to the level of, say, awakening you are. Okay? In order to do that, you have to understand the rules and the laws of the new game. Okay? You have to play the game. You can't sit on the sidelines. Right? In the past, the game was about, you guys don't know anything. We'll tell you what to do, and then we'll, obviously make the rules according to our benefit, not the masses. In this reality, everyone has an opportunity to make mass gains. Right? And some of you actually have turned into some millionaires through the work that we've done. So congratulations on that. Okay. If you look at just talking about wealth and how wealth can be lost, a few months ago, Elon Musk, right, from Tesla, Elon Musk was the wealthiest man in the world by far. And Tesla dropped by over, I think at the max it was 800. Now it's under 6, let's say. So he's not the richest man anymore. Again, just billions wiped out like that. Your worth, your value, your financial security can be wiped out just like that, just like his. Obviously, he's got billions more, so it's not a big deal. But to you, right? To you, what would that mean to you? What would that mean to your family? So you've got to be on the right track. You got to be awakened to control your life. This reality, or this consciousness that we're going into, you have to be on your toes. You have to be, again, in control. If you're not, it's not that somebody else will take control of you, because that's gone. There's no control mechanisms anymore. So there's no abuse, and that's why there is no abuse in the new consciousness. You either take control of your life or you don't, or you're not here. It literally is that simple, guys. Okay. So I didn't talk about how I make my predictions. So my predictions have been accurate, very accurate, by the way. From, say, the stock markets, what stocks to buy, options to buy, whatever, cryptocurrencies. It's also very accurate on, say, the pandemic that came about, again, years before anything happened. A lot of predictions. So where does that come from? Well, it comes from a higher level of consciousness. I don't do market research, although the market research backs my predictions, which is really fantastic. And it's the same way with analyzing you. If you have, say, and again, I'm not claiming that I heal people or cure people. I just basically awaken your inner giant, right? Your inner healing abilities, and then you heal yourself. But I tell somebody, for example, hey, you might want to check yourself. You might have cancer or diabetes or heart issues, and they go, and then they go to the doctor and they go, no, I was totally fine. I go, okay. And then about 6 months later, when their tests can actually pick up on what's going on, it's like, shit, Moss, you were right. That happens all the time. Okay, so where does that come from? Well, again, I can see your past, I can see your future, I can actually help you edit your future as well, and that's how I help change lives. I know that sounds really matrixy, but again, some of the people here, if you can just comment in on, say, the changes that you've had in life. Again, fantastic changes that you've had in life, right? They're beyond magic, because it's not magic, it's straight out science. So you analyze just the way people predict this reality here, right? Or the intelligent people have, they observe this reality and they can predict what's happening. The algorithms that artificial intelligence uses, right? For, say, Google and Facebook and your government and so on. What do? They predict what you're going to buy. They predict when people or couples get pregnant, or when they're going to have a kid, or when they're going to buy a house, and so on like that, by your, say, your trends, your patterns. That's how accurate AI is. That's why AI is so beneficial to those people who know how to use it. So there's just algorithms. Well, my algorithms, or when I study algorithms, doesn't come from a time-based consciousness. It comes from a higher level consciousness, basically a timeless consciousness. And they're just natural algorithms. If X happens, and it's more accurate that way. I call it the first principle. It's the first principle. It's the top level, say, algorithm that dictates how all the other algorithms, or how all the other behaviors, they occur in different layers of consciousness. So we're at the top level consciousness, and that algorithm, or those predictions, and they're not really predictions. You just see exactly what's happening for you. It's so obvious that, well, they're very accurate. So that's where I get it from, a very high level or top level consciousness. I can see or predict the future for you. And then what we'll do, we'll just take a quick little break, and then we'll come back and start analyzing the people on the call. As a note, at the end of every month, right, the last Sunday of every month, we pick one or two people that we analyze live. Okay, right now it's like speed analysis, and what that is I just analyze, like, for example, anyway, I just analyze whoever says, "Hey, scan me." I analyze whoever, and I tell you exactly what's going on with your life, and not just tell you what's going on, the exact reason on what's going on with you, but then also give you a little mini session to help you, say, switch that into your higher level of who you are. Okay, so I'll demonstrate that for you as we jump into the next segment of Moss on Sunday. So we'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back. And just because of the world we live in today, I have to read this. This is Masati with Exponential Intelligence. It's Sunday, March 7th, 2021. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't diagnose or heal. I can scan your frequency signature and tell you what I see. So please consult your doctors or for professional advice, if I give you any advice, again, seek your own judgment, your own wisdom. If he asks to be scanned today, okay, you are agreeing that we may use your session on any public media to help inspire others. So remember, if you don't want us to share your session, don't ask to be scanned. Simple as that. And then all contents are protected by copyright. You may not use our content in any way, shape, or form for any purpose without my written permission. All right. And by the way, if you ask to be scanned, please, please, please type in your request only once. Okay. If I see too many times, same person, I won't scan you. Okay. It just gets too, too disorienting here. So, so let's go. Let's take a deep breath in, and then I'll just get you into a nice deep state. Again, a strong deep breath in. Breath in again. As I guide you into, say, your higher wealth parameters. So what that means is that your wealth is defined by how much money you make. Even if you don't think of it that way. But again, let's bring your real value, your timeless value. Strong deep breath in. Notice your spine. There you go. Again, this isn't hypnosis or your normal meditation. So notice how that feels. Notice that you're more secure. Notice that you can, say, create or find solutions for the problems that you have, or you feel like you can, because you can. That security that you're searching outside in relationships or money never comes from an outside source, relationships or money or anything else. It comes from an internal value. That's the new paradigm of wealth that we'll be talking about on Tuesday. Once you have that, nobody can control you. You exist, you live. There's no other way. You live in this reality, fully abundant. And that's the new wealth paradigm that's coming through. It's your choice on whether you stay there or not. So we'll go on to the scans. This one's from Gina, Hdaurye. Again, I don't need to know your real name or anything like that. My abilities is not about intuition or anything that comes from the five senses. I go beyond that. So again, it's beyond intuition, and that's why I'm always accurate, because it doesn't change with my emotional state or anything, because it goes beyond time. Right? And I see things, or as I tap into you to analyze you, I see it from your point of view. Okay? So Gina, for you, Moss, can you scan my progress after total human reset and higher level solutions coming for me? Yes. So again, higher level solutions are coming for you. It just seems like there's a lot of them coming for you. So you don't know, like, okay, before there was like nothing. It's like, what do I do? And, you'd always go around in a circle, and then you'd always say the same mistakes, so to speak, in your life, again, over and over. So it's like you were in a room and you're just going around in circles. In this scenario, you're out of that room. It was a circular room, by the way. You're out of that room, and now you're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 6, 7 possibilities. And then it's like, well, what do I do? Now I have too many possibilities. So congratulations on that. So take a deep breath in, Gina, and then those who are of similar patterns who've done the total human reset, and we'll help you transition into that new space. What you can do, again, as I help you download new knowledge, new belief systems, new ways of looking at things, again, a newer logic from a higher level consciousness. Okay? So you can understand, or you can traverse this reality much easier, like that aha moment. When you start to understand something, you go back into some of your life experiences, and it's like, shit, how could I ever thought of that, right? Or why did I ever do that? Or why did I ever date that so and so? By the way, we've got 13 ways to heal your love pain coming up after this. So take a look at that. It's a free call. It's unlisted. So you'd have to register for the newsletter. Again, it's a fantastic opportunity for you to get insights of wisdom weekly. So, and that talks about relationships. Anyway, getting back to you, Gina. So all these opportunities are showing up. The best thing that you can do is just to observe those opportunities. Okay, some of those opportunities, again, as I help you awaken, I peel away the filters that you see. So that means pretty much every filter gets removed for you, and then those filters have to get recreated. Okay, so again, some of the opportunities that you see aren't the best for you. Okay, just because they're opportunities showing, and again, in you, with or without XI, all the opportunities that show up for you, again, they're not the best. Right? But why do you get attracted to a certain opportunity? So that's what I'm asking you to observe. Okay. So why are you getting attracted to a certain opportunity? If it's inciting emotions for you, Gina, about previous patterns or previous lovers or previous whatever situation, it looks more like business though for you. Like, shit, if I go into this opportunity, I'm going to be burdened. That's one of the opportunities. So I'm just analyzing one of them for you, okay, just so you get a clue. It's like you're looking at this opportunity out of the 6 or 7 that you have or coming, and you feel like it's really exciting, but then you feel drained, and then you feel like there's a sense of obligation for some reason. Okay, that's an opportunity that you say no to. Okay, those things I can't do for you. I can't help you choose what you're going to take because it'd be against free will. I can only show you the probabilities of what's there for you, and then help you understand it at a higher logic level, and then you get to choose. So again, for that case, don't choose that opportunity. Again, so what you want to do, Gina, is just observe why you're getting attracted to those opportunities, because it's not necessarily the opportunities that's important here. It's about the patterns on how you get attracted to the opportunities. And once you figure that out, the right opportunity just, queries out or filters out for you. Okay, it's a really nice job. This is Joanna Keefe. Moss, can you scan my son Eric? His fiance just got the second jab in 2 weeks. I'm assuming the vaccine. Yeah. So again, I'm not here to talk about, should you or should you not, but, the vaccine is kind of like a mark of how awakened you are. If you listen to the earlier talk on wealth, it literally is, the awakened and not the awakened. Your son, Eric, runs just like you, although you've walked out of it, and it's Eric's turn to walk out of it. So it's a fantastic opportunity for him. Anyway, the pattern is that you burden yourself, right? You burden yourself with somebody's woes, or patterns. He would be, or you might have been, say, those type of people that, you get into a relationship, where you have to take care of your spouse. So that kind of deal. For some for whatever reason, they can't walk anymore. They get mentally unstable or whatever it is, right? Or they get ill, cancers, whatever. So that kind of burdening relationship. So your son Eric is going down that line. It's his opportunity to awaken. So his fiance, really heavy. Okay. And basically say blames pretty much, or she gets into shit. And then basically Eric is responsible for getting her out of it and then also getting blamed for it. So that's his call. That's his call. So again, for you, the key is, and that's why I read you, Joanna, is that you have to step away and allow people, because no matter who they are, that's the key is that are they awakened or are they not? That's the division point. Okay, guys. So in this case, frequencies are thicker than blood. Okay. Will Bitcoin dip or continue this rise? Again, all the details will be on the Tuesday talk, the new wealth paradigm. But overall, I see again the stock markets, and I predicted that a while back. And again, I was 4 days off, but again, close enough. Massive turnaround. I believe Bitcoin will dip, not back into the 18s, 20s, or anything like that, but maybe in the low 40s or high 30s, and then it might be just for an hour. By the way, it'll dip and then just like the next day, just like you saw on Friday, right? Tesla was down, by the way, by about 70 points, and again, the small group that I told about, in one day we gained 70 points because we bought it on the way down. We bought the puts, and we made a good amount of money, by the way, trading options. So that was really fantastic. So congratulations to those who were in that group. And then we sold the same day because it closed. It was 27. It was 70 down, and then it closed like 23 down. So that's 50 points that we gained the way we did it. So again, the market again dipped like this. It just tanked, and then it picked back up because the market makers again are pouring money just to sustain a dying market. So I see another dip coming, and then again it just might bounce back up. So you have to be on your toes if you're playing the dips. This one is TK Bomber. By the way, I'm not a financial analyst. I'm just telling you what I see, okay, or what I'm doing. Can you support me in disentangling from my vanishing twin, please? Yes. So take a deep breath in. Again, the work that you've done. Again, there's always been an identity that has been, say, invading your space or consuming you. It's almost like sometimes you might go mentally unstable, or some people might go, oh fuck, she's going crazy. It's not that you're going crazy. Again, you finally got to the point that you can separate. So let's just again, congratulations. Let's just separate you here. Take a deep breath in. Is it TK Bomber? Yeah, TK Bomber. Take a deep breath in. For some of you who might have similar patterns, again, it could be a twin or somebody that always latches onto you if you have that propensity, right? Or it could be a presence that hangs onto you all the time, right? Or if you had, for example, back in the day, you had imaginary friends, right? When you were younger, sometimes they weren't so imaginary. They actually were something of another consciousness or another level, another presence that like latched onto you, took over you. Seems that happens in your family quite a bit. So yes, I did separate you. I would suggest a session, a longer session, for you to really come into yourself. So your twin's gone, but then what you're going to do is kind of float in nowhere land until you figure out that there's nobody else supporting you. So you have to make your own decisions. You've never made your own decisions, by the way. It was either your mom or somebody else telling you what to do. Now it's like, okay, what the fuck do I do? Well, I can help you download that on, again, designing your own life from here. Moss said a few weeks ago that he saw Bitcoin dropping to 34. Again, adjusting, I would say high 30s, 40s, and it did actually drop down. By the way, so I was again, it dropped down to say 36, and then it went from again like 45 or so, and then it dropped down to about 36, and then went back up. So again, you have to be really quick on say some of these trades. If you're waiting for the trade, it's going to drop down to 34 and it's going to stay there for a month, especially with Bitcoin, guys. Again, it just might be like an hour. So if you're into, again, timing the market, you'd have to be there, or at least set up some alerts. This one is Stacy Zuckerman. Scammy, please. Sure. So Stacy, I don't know if you, it just seems like there's a masculine identity or pattern that is always controlling you at some level. It's always controlling you at some level. You're always getting pushed. Okay. And then you would attract, a husband or a brother or father, whatever it is, that is always say pushing you. So that's why relationships, doesn't really fare well for you. So again, I would suggest 13 ways to heal your love pain, to listen to that, all 13 ways of it, and you'll understand, because it's not just about the logic, because again, it's high level logic. It gives you the deep down level on the deep down answer on why things happen. And then also helps you rewire it. So for you, Stacy, it's all about getting pushed. And if you don't get pushed, you feel disoriented. So it's almost kind of like an abuse type pattern for you. And again, abuse is basically an addictive pattern. And it sounds strange, okay? But people get addicted to abuse, not because they like it, okay? It's because that's the only way they feel their life. That's the only way that they can feel that they're in life. Otherwise, they feel like they're dying. Okay, a severe pattern of this would be those individuals who cut themselves. It's not like they enjoy the pain or cut themselves, although it is very euphoric for them because again, if you're having a dying experience, it doesn't feel very good. So cutting yourself again pulls you back into your body. So for you, Stacey, that's the kind of pattern. Again, I'm not saying you cut yourself or anything, but I'm just giving you an extreme version of that pattern. So let's remove, or let's help you. And whatever that you've done with me, you're actually starting to realize it. Hey, before, if I would have said that, it's like, no, I'm just aggressive, or I just try to control things. It's like, well, usually it's the other way around, although you might think you're in control. And now you're going, shit, I was never in control, right? So again, if I read you, please comment back on the accuracy. But take a deep breath in, Stacey. And we'll pull that back away, because before you were entangled, and that's why you'd go, well, I'm just aggressive and I'm just, again, a masculine pattern. And now you're going, well, shit, now I see how that situation has actually controlled me. And now what we're doing is like creating more distance, again, spot proximity, creating more distance for you, separating your identity. So what that means for you is, well, just that you pull away, and then you have a choice on not getting, say, controlled. And that means that you'll get into a relationship pattern, from what I'm seeing, either an old or a new one, and then you'll stand up, you'll see that you'll react differently. So very nice. This one, this is Roy Straver. Hey, Moss, scan us. Sure. For you, Roy, is it you and your partner? I see two other people. Yeah, you. So anyway, you, your partner, maybe a kid or something like that. But the kid doesn't feel like your kid or something to that effect, or there might be some relationship issues or something there. But anyway, what's happening for you is that as you've done the XI, you're coming more and more into yourself. You're coming stronger into your own identity. You're starting to reclaim yourself, which is really good. You're starting to see the light, because in the past, just say, again, comment back. But a few months ago, it's just like there was no it was the end of the tunnel kind of for you, if that makes sense to you, specifically you, Roy, uh, or that pattern. Always, you would find yourself at a dead end, at least 2, 3 times in your life. And it's like, fuck, now what do I do? And as you get older, basically that dead end gets deeper and deeper, right? And it's pretty hard to bury yourself out. And then sometimes, and I kind of see bits of like depression or anxiety in your family, and then also maybe suicidal type tendencies in your family back in the day or around your friends, that kind of deal. So either way, your family might be having that, or a support mechanism for people around you that have those types of patterns. So those type of frequencies are releasing, and it's literally a blanket that is peeled away from you, which is again really fantastic. So in this mini session that I'm doing for you, Roy, is one, helping you understand that this is real for you. You can hold on to it. There's no more dead ends for you, and you're starting to realize that there's a freshness in your step, so to speak. Or again, you're starting to see the possibilities that you always knew that was out there, but you didn't know how to attune to it. So again, in this mini session, giving you a little bit of a download or a different way of understanding how to see the possibilities that lie await for you. Right? So again, really nice job. Um, um, this is Sunny Desai. I'd like a scan. So Sunny, it seems like you've really understood who you are, or really embraced who you are. So again, nice job. Congratulations. But it feels a little foreign for you, if that makes sense to you. Your new self, because, well, it just seems that, and again, so, and I'll give you an example. Say that you ran a masculine pattern, but you're a female. Okay. And it happens the reverse as well. And that's why I'm giving you both patterns. Okay. So I'm working on the both sides of you. Or, you're running feminine pattern and you were male. So working on that kind of programming, because it's the same. So that way I can work on a lot of you. So what's happening is now, say, you're female and you had this masculine pattern, and then now you've pulled out and you're seeing yourself as a strong female, for example, which is really fantastic. So overall, or, again, for the male aspect, for the male side of that, right, you would see yourself as a strong male, but then it's like, well, what do I do? Okay, now that I'm here, how do I decide on things? Because the patterns of you deciding, right? If you were a woman, again, if you're a woman, and then, you've always had, a man's world identity, for example, right? And that pattern is gone. Well, you can't use, say, it's a man's world or a man's logic to say solve or see this reality. So your logic is changing, how you see your reality is changing, your flesh is changing, again, into a more stronger version of who you are. So congratulations. This one, near vid. I would love a scan with you. Money has always been a problem. I wonder why it has always affected my relationships and my whole life so far. It's not really the money that's your problem, hon. It's your self-worth, right? Money is just a magnifier of that self-worth. That's why. So what happens is that, say you're really, I want to say afraid. You're always afraid, or insecure at a very deep level. Say you were a child and you never were recognized for some reason, and then now what's happened is that you get into a relationship, okay, and then money issues come up. Well, both are magnifiers, money and relationships. Again, it's a double magnifier. So you get into a love frequency, and then you get insecure about, well, is that person gonna leave me? Or is that person going to leave me? Or, is it going to be, are they going to be, is it going to be safe enough for me to say, be, or show my weak side so I can grow? So that's what you're always looking for. Somebody that can like support you so you can, be vulnerable so you can grow. You're not The good thing about it all, and maybe it's from what you've done with XI, is that you're not looking for somebody to go, I'm really insecure, or really, never really had the chance to grow as a child, because I see, you're older, but also, a very young child, deep within you, wanting to grow, wanting that attention or that love. So you're just looking for somebody to again, hold that space so you can grow. You're not the type of person that goes, I just want somebody to love me so I can just stay this child, because that shit never works out. So again, in your scenario, is this person, say, trustworthy enough? Because you have issues with trust as well. Is this person trustworthy enough to say support me? And most people aren't, unfortunately. And then what happens is, well, money comes in, right? No matter high levels or low levels, comes in, and then, well, money is a magnifier of the relationship, the type of relationship that you have, because you get to start to identify that's like, shit, this person's not, again, not going to support my growth. Okay. By the way, nobody can. I mean, somebody can, but again, most people aren't awake enough. So money becomes a magnifier on the weakness. The more money that you have, the more it magnifies the weaknesses, and that's the paradigm of this consciousness. In the next consciousness, you want to be ready so that money is not a money is still a magnifier, but actually it starts to become a reflection of how, say, awakened you are or how complete you are. So again, I would suggest a session, or at least the 18 days. I would actually do the 18 days. If you're doing a session, and I know those sessions get booked up, and we're creating a waiting list for you, so we can get more people in, and I'll open up more times for you as well. But if you haven't worked, if you haven't done the 18 days, a lot of your issues will start to resolve themselves on the 18 days. Okay. The 18-day meditation, it is one of the fastest ways, or the fastest way, to transform all aspects of your life. Total human reset, even, goes even way past that. But the 18 days coming up in March and April. Okay. It's a great opportunity for you to actually resolve a lot of things beforehand, that before you even have a session with me. So instead of having a session with me and, investing all that time and money, and again, it's not a lot of time, because we're talking about frequencies, not time. Instead of that, a lot of those things can be resolved. So when you do have a session, it's all about, hey, Mas, push me into the potential that I have, rather than, hey, Mas, can you fix me? I'd rather push you into the potential, rather than, again, fixing you. So, and it's a lot cheaper, by the way, the 18 days. So take a look at that one, and hey, Moss, how's it going? I've been super busy. Scan me. It has been help me move into super new Tawanda. You're the best. Oh, thanks so much. Yeah. So again, it seems like you, Tawanda, you pulled away from XI, which is really fantastic. Again, everybody pulls away from, say their source. So whether it's a tribe, the young boys in the tribe, go out into the forest and sustain themselves. Buddha went out into their identity, right? Jesus went out. Muhammad, went into a cave, and again, we all did the same. As you get to a certain level, you have to own or earn your honor, so you'd become independent, and then again, more stable, self-sufficient. So that's what you've done. And now you're coming back. It's like, well, just like I said, hey, Mom, show me the potential, right? I'm solid, I'm strong, I'm ready to go. It's kind of like, you're out of shape and all that, and then XI turned you into a seasoned athlete, and then you went out on your own, right? And it's like, damn, okay, you played around with your abilities, and that now it's like, well, hey, how do I hone those abilities? So that's what you're coming back into. So again, for you, just pushing you into, say, adventure. So you'll see a lot of adventure coming up. Take it. Okay. Don't hold back. Just take it. And this shows you to trust your higher self more. This is where, maybe in the past, say that the steps keep opening up for you, right? Like in some of the movies, they walk forward and boom, the step comes forward in out of thin air, right? To support them. That's the same thing that you're going to go through. You might not see the step, and many of us will go, well, I need to see that step before I step forward. Well, XI, or how you work, happens in real time. So as you create, say, that completeness or that security, you step forward and each step will get better and better if you had that, say, mentality. It's not a mentality, it's a programming, it's a coding that you have. So that aspect of you is opening up. We'll just take one more. And again, a lot of people sign up, guys, if you want to be scanned here live. Right? How soon is the market crash coming? Well, I predicted a while back. It's already started on. So it's already, it was about a week or two ago. But then, so what happened was, again, and I'll just analyze you anyway. What happened is that, well, I'll talk about that on Tuesday. Sorry, it's just too long of an explanation. But the point is that it's a great opportunity when it heads back up. Okay, and it's not the end crash, by the way. There's a bigger crash coming up later on. This is just that momentary crash, and then so that's why again you want to check it out on Tuesday. This one, online paradigms. Hamas, can you analyze me and my financial patterns? How am I doing? Thanks and all the best. Thank you. You're doing really well. By the way, you're starting to analyze how you look at finances. Again, your finances are dictated by how your family or your culture seems like. Look at money, especially, the father or a masculine pattern. Again, that could be your mother if she ran the masculine pattern or ran the house from what I'm seeing. So there's it's an interesting mix, right? And it shows up in your financials. There's a separation of like who actually runs the house and who supports the house. So and that's really confusing for you, because in most scenarios in this paradigm, again, I'm not saying it's right, but that's how human behavior works, is that those who, say, provide security, right, or provide the wealth, run the house. Okay. In this situation, it's a dichotomy. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. It hasn't affected you in a positive way, because then there's that separation of you, right? You tend to go to, say, a feminine side if the female aspect, because that's what you've deemed, and that's where the misconception comes in, is that femininity is supposed to support the households and so on like that. Masculinity is supposed to support, say, finances, and that could have been reversed for you or something to that. It's a confusion and a separation for you. That's not the case, by the way, and that's why females who even support themselves, okay, have are strong financially, they get a little fucked up just because of this concept of this human consciousness that somebody else is supposed to provide for you. That's the way women operate. Okay, so even if you're financially stable, you won't feel financially stable, because again, this human paradigm that we exist in, the consciousness that we exist in, dictates that you feel insecure unless there's a male presence in you, which either consumes you, which you lose your femininity, which isn't good, or you feel, say, a lack of a male presence around you, although you're secure, but then again, empty or lonely. So in your case, you're really confused. So what's happening for you now, which is really fantastic. Again, maybe that was your past, but what's happening for you now is that you're analyzing and you're taking, say, again, not a male female version. You're just taking, say, what's good for me as who I am. Okay. So if you're a female version, you take all the benefits of, say, what a masculine, say, version or definition of money is about, and then turn it into, say, a female. If you're a male, you would take that male version. And again, and all the positives of, say, a nurturing feminine frequency that supports, right, and merging it into one. So there's sexual roles, okay, which does not benefit you, especially in this for you, my friend. So again, you're pulling all that stuff out, removing the sexual roles that have attached to it through society, your culture, maybe your family. Again, everybody runs this just at different levels. And then you're pulling it out for your own benefit, for who you are, which makes you, again, a stronger individual. All right. So we have to get going, guys. Hopefully, I'll get to see you on 13 Ways to Heal Your Love Pain coming up in about 45 minutes. All right. So a lot of moss here this Sunday. All right. So as we end, guys, next week, we're going to come back to our scheduled programming, which is time travel really possible? And I'll give you the logistics on what time travel is, what Elon Musk is missing on his trip to Mars that he needs to take account for, and all that good stuff. So really cool stuff coming up for you. And again, 13 Ways to Heal Your Love Pain coming up in about 45 minutes. All right, guys. Again, notice what you notice, and then notice the details. Peace.